Morning, everyone. Welcome. We will get started here right away. I know we're starting a little bit early today. We'll be back at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning. So this is a more chill class if you've been in the classes before the last couple weeks. So just some gentle stretching to start the day. So you'll just need your mat. If you have a block and a strap at home, great. If not, no worries. And just come to lay on your back and we will get started. So you're just going to start to bring your arms and your legs out nice and wide. Take up some space around you, get comfortable. Your heels can come right off the edges of the mat if that feels good. Palms are facing the ceiling, tuck your shoulders under. Just close your eyes here and start to find just a few deep belly breaths. So in and out through your nose. Just letting your chest expand, your ribs expand, letting your shoulders soften on your exhales. Starting to scan your physical body, noticing any spots that are feeling particularly tight or maybe stressed or locked up this morning. And then with every exhale, just see if you can start to invite a little more softness into those spots. Attempting to let go, attempting to soften, to find some ease in your muscles. Okay, just take about 3 or 4 more cycles of breath here before we start to move. Right, and then just slowly take your time. You can start by rocking the head back and forth here. Maybe wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, and circle your wrists and your ankles. Draw the heels together at the back of the mat. Reach your arms overhead, point your toes, take an inhale, full body stretch here. And exhale to let that go. Just let the body soften. Let's do one more like that. Deep breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Okay, now step the feet onto the floor. And just one by one, draw your knees in toward your chest. Wrap the arms around the shins, or you can just have your hands on your shins, your hamstrings, your knees, just whatever feels best. Just gently pulling the thighs in, and pressing down through the low back. Just a little tuck in your chin so the neck is long. Keep pressing down through the back and just rock yourself back and forth here. Starting to feel the low back wake up. Maybe bring your hands to your knees and start to trace circles around the lower back. So if you're doing that, just make sure you switch directions, go a few times the opposite way. And as you make your way back through center, we'll keep the right knee hugged in. Instead of extending your left leg out, you're just going to step your left foot down onto the mat. So you don't want your heel super close toward your hip. You want a good amount of space between the foot and your bum. So just rooting down through the foot, root down through your low back, and then just gently start to squeeze the right thigh in. So this is just sort of like a modified variation of window leaving pose with that left leg long. So this is good if you are super tight through your hip flexors, if extending your opposite leg just doesn't feel great, or you need maybe a bit of time just to warm up here. This is a good alternative. You're still going to get that same opening in your right hip as you squeeze the thigh in. You can always just slide the right thigh from side to side. You can still find those gentle circles here. And you're welcome to stay like that with the left foot planted or begin to extend your left leg long. So just coming into the full variation, you might feel a bit of a stretch through the top of your left leg. Take about 3 more seconds of breath here. So at the end of the third breath, you're going to step your right foot down onto the mat. Your left leg is long. And now just let your right knee fall open into reclined tree pose. So your right foot is resting anywhere along the inside of your left thigh. Arms come wherever they're comfortable. You can reach overhead for a bit of a deeper stretch out of your hips and your waist. You can take your arms out to the sides. And your foot doesn't have to be on the upper thigh. You can always come down toward the knee, the calf, or the ankle. And if you feel like you need something underneath that right thigh to support, maybe a block or a cushion or a book, just anything you have handy. And if you find that you're really open in the hips, a nice way to layer onto this pose is to take your right foot to the top of your left thigh. So there's a little more space. Again, we're just here for about 3 or 4 more breaths. Take your time. So if you put your right foot on top of your left thigh, you can just slowly and carefully remove that. Now draw the right knee back up and extend your right leg in line with your left. Let both of your toes just splay out to the sides. Both of your feet, rather. Okay, we'll do that on the opposite side. So starting with feet to the mat. And then once again, knees hug into the chest, arms around the shins. And just here to reset, give yourself that little squeeze. And left knee stays in, step the right foot onto the mat. So again, a good amount of space between the right foot and your right glute. You should still be able to root down through your lower back, just gently squeezing that left thigh in. Try to pull that left thigh a bit closer on your exhales. So your inhale, you're rooting down through your lower back. Exhale, squeeze that left leg in. And you can layer on a little more movement through the thigh, side to side. And then let's start to extend the right leg. So just layering on, going a little bit deeper into the top of the right thigh. Really push out through the bottom of your right foot. Squeeze the left thigh in. All right, let's bring that left foot down to the mat. Knee falls open right back into reclined tree. So we've been here before. Might feel a little bit different from side to side. So just find the position that feels good for your left hip. Shouldn't feel like you're pressing or straining here. You're just sort of letting the hip be heavy, the thigh be heavy, and gravity is taking over for you. You're just following the breath in and out through the nose. Maybe you place that left foot to the top of the right thigh for the last 4 to 5 breaths here. So at the end of the last breath, you're just going to take that left foot off of the top of the thigh, bring the knee back through center, extend the left leg, both legs are long. Arms come alongside here just for a couple of breaths, let that land. Good, and let's bring the feet back to the mat one more time. Knees hug into the chest one more time, just a little reset. And maybe cross at the ankles here. You can bring the chin to the chest, lift the head, neck, and shoulders. Give yourself a nice tight hug here. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, lower the head, lower the feet. Bring your right arm overhead. You're going to roll onto the right side, and whenever you're ready, just continue onto your front into a wide-legged child's pose. So knees come about mat distance, hips to heels. Rest the forehead, walk the hands forward. So just settling into your version of child's pose. You can always support underneath your hips with a block or a cushion. Good. So you can feel a little locked up in child's pose, especially our first one of the day. If it's in the morning, hips are still a bit tight, low back. So just sort of scanning, noticing where you're holding on to the majority of your tension. And can you start to consciously soften into those spots? If you need to bend your elbows a little bit, you're always welcome to do that. Just really try to feel your back body expanding on your inhale, so creating that space for yourself. Let your chest soften toward the mat on your exhales. And start to creep your fingers forward toward the top edge of the mat. Spread your fingers wide and let your forearms and your elbows just hover off of the floor. So you're making this pose a little more active. Your forehead is still rooted. Your hips are pushing back and down to your heels. And now from here, let your forearms and your elbows land onto the mat. You're going to lift your hands and your forearms up. Your forehead is still down. I'm just going to keep my head up so you can hear me. So you want to bring your hands to the back of your head. So your hands are together in prayer, right to the base of your neck, or the base of your skull, rather. Elbows are staying connected to the mat. And without actually moving your elbows, try to drag them toward your knees. So as you do this, you should feel the stretch in your triceps, maybe slightly in your underarms. And continue to take about 3 or 4 really, really deep breaths here. So you want to feel that expansion on your inhales. Soften the chest toward the mat on the exhales. Got about 2 or 3 more here. At the end of your last breath, just bring your hands back down to the floor, spread the fingers wide, come forward into a tabletop. Bring your knees so they're right beneath your hips. Wrists are under the shoulders. Nice neutral spine. And then take a breath in as you drop your belly down. Begin to bring your heart forward and through. Lift the chin, lift the gaze. And exhale, slowly rounding. Press up between the shoulder blades as you drop the head. Good, deep breath in, lifting up. Long, steady exhale, rounding the spine. Yeah, let's do it 3 more of those. Good, on your inhales, waking up. Press the front of the body all the way up to the throat as you lift your chin. And getting into the back of the body on your exhales. And last one here, breathing in. And breathing out. Good, come back to neutral. Coming in to thread the needle for our shoulders. So you're gonna start with your right hand. Take a breath in, sweep the right fingers up. And on your exhale, weave your right arm underneath your left. So your left hand can walk forward toward the top of the mat. Hips are stacked on top of the knees. And you want to really push down here through the back of your right hand. So drive the back of your right hand down into the floor to feel that through your right shoulder. Just slow, steady cycles of breath here. Yeah, press down through your left hand. Start to make your way back up, tabletop position. Just reset. And then we'll do that on the opposite side. So left fingers reach, inhale. Weave the left arm under on your exhale. Or just walk that right hand forward. And now the back of your left hand presses into the floor. Good. Set the right hand into the mat. Come back to tabletop. Again, just give your hips a gentle sway here. Back and forth. And then we're just going to pop into a downward facing dog. So fingers are spread wide, tuck the toes under, lift your hips up and back. So you want to have that sort of upside down V shape. Fingers are spread wide. You're going to root down through your index fingers and your thumbs. If you have really tight hamstrings, you can bend the knees here a bit. And try to work those heels down to the mat. So you want to get longer through the hamstrings. So finding a nice stretch in your entire back body here. Do about 3 or 4 more cycles of breath. At the end of your last breath, you're just going to slowly bring the knees down. And then just find a comfortable seated position. We won't be here for too long. Just a few upper body stretches, and then we're going to come onto our backs and finish with some hips. So you can sit onto your heels, you can be seated onto a block. It's whatever is comfortable. Start to roll your shoulders out. Just want to do that about 3 or 4 times. each direction. Good. As you make your way back through center, bring the chin down to your chest. And then just really slowly, all the way to one side, all the way to the opposite side. Just feeling the neck across the tops of the shoulders. About 3 more times on each side. And as you make your way back through center, just bring that gaze forward, reach the arms out in front of you, interlace your fingers, your elbows stay wide here. So like you're holding a big beach ball in front of you. Bring the chin down to the chest and just lean back slightly. So you're sort of hollowing out through the front of the body. Okay, you want to feel that bit of separation right between your shoulder blades. You can stay here or slide your arms just a few inches over to the left. So you should feel that a little bit more in the right side. Good, and then back through center, a few inches to the right. Back through center, take a deep breath in. And exhale, release, reach behind you, clasp the hands. Start to press the knuckles to the wall behind you, push your heart forward, roll your shoulders back, maybe just a little bit of a lift in the gaze. You want to feel this across your chest. Okay, let that go, give your shoulders a roll. So you're gonna stay seated. I like to do this from sort of a cross-legged position, just a bit easier. So just one more, we're gonna come into just an easy spinal twist. So bring your left hand just behind your left hip. Your right hand is going to come to the outside of your left thigh. Sit up tall, take a breath in, lengthen your spine. On the exhale, just gently twist toward the left. Draw the belly in as you do this. So inhale, lift through the top of the head, grow taller. Exhale, navel hugs into the spine as you twist open. Good, breathing in. Breathing out. One more here, inhale. Exhale. Good, come back through center, right hand behind the right hip. Left hand to the outside of the right thigh. Inhale. Exhale, open. Good, deep belly breath in. Long, smooth exhale as you twist. 2 more. And come back through center. Maybe just take a really gentle counter twist. And maybe grab a sip of water, and we're going to head down onto our backs. So as you come onto your back, going to plant your feet onto the floor. And then walk them about mat distance apart. From here, start to draw your knees in. So your knees and your thighs are wide. You can bring your hand to your knees or to your shins. Press down through the low back, soften your shoulders, and then just gently start to squeeze the knees toward your shoulders. On your inhale, thighs come away from the body, find that space. Exhale, squeeze the legs in. So feeling this hopefully in your hips and your inner thighs as well. And I want your knees to stay sort of away from the body. Your thighs are away from the belly. So ideally, you're sort of holding your knees in your hands. Thighs are heavy here. And hopefully you feel this in your inner thighs. Try to soften the shoulders. Just take some deep breaths here into that opening. Draw the low belly in. Start to bring your knees toward each other. Arms around the shins. Give yourself a squeeze. And then lower the feet onto the floor. This time they are hip distance apart, so just about 6 inches. Slide your hips a few inches to the right and cross the right thigh on top. And let your knees fall to the left. Tee the arms out or take cactus arms and turn your gaze to the right side. So just an easy spinal twist here. Good, belly pulls in. Carefully make your way back. Unwind the thighs, shift your hips over to the left side. Left thigh on top, knees to the right, gaze to the left. Press down through the backs of your shoulders. Draw your abs in. Make your way back through center. Unwind your thighs. Bring the feet together. Let your knees fall open into cobbler's pose or reclined cobbler's pose. You can have your arms alongside. You can reach your arms overhead. Just find a position that feels good for your upper body. Tuck your shoulders under. I'm just taking some really easy cycles of breath here as you let your knees and your thighs become heavier. And you can stay just as you are or start to extend the legs out nice and long. So just finding some stillness here, even if it's just for a few cycles of breath. Just noticing the way your body feels. So this is where I leave you this morning. I will be back. It's at 8 a.m. tomorrow morning, a little more of an active class.
Yeah, so I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you for joining, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.